Jeremy Albrecht, championship winning mechanic, now working with the AMA. Quite the difference in role. Do you enjoy what you're doing nowadays more?
Yeah, I mean, this is a new role for me this year. I've helped out kind of part-time there for the last few years just because I love the sport, and I had a full-time job, was coming on the weekend helping out, and enjoyed it. I was doing about 20 events, and then they offered me a full-time position that I wasn't expecting, and couldn't turn it down. I love being here, and it's kind of where I've been here since 1991, and it's what I do. So felt like I needed to really take it serious and look at it, and decided to go for it.
So we'll go back to the 90s there. I mainly remember you as Jeff Emig's mechanic.
Yep.
Obviously he had a sort of heavy off-track presence as well as on-track. What was that like as a mechanic? You seemed pretty relaxed. Did you realize that was how you got the best out of Jeff in those years?
We were good friends, so we raced together early on. Okay. I wouldn't say race together. He raced and I raced. He would beat me and he was better, but we all became friends racing these local series and stuff. And then he would come stay at our house because he was from Missouri. He'd come live at our house in California, and we'd ride together. And then we'd always joke, once I became a mechanic, hey, someday I'll own a team and you'll work for me. But kind of came across earlier, his mechanic was at Yamaha when he switched to Kawasaki. He didn't go with him, so then he threw my name in the hat. And I ended up getting the job, and we were friends already. So I knew, I knew all about him. I knew the highs and lows, and we had fun together. But there was a point he went a little far with it, obviously. But he was flashy. He loved it.
So you were battling Jeremy McGrath a lot in Supercross. Jeff's obviously really good outdoors, but in Supercross, how frustrating was it to try and beat McGrath when he was just so good? Those early years before he managed to achieve it, was there a lot of conversation about what Jeremy's doing better? Was it analytical, or was it just something else?
The hard thing with McGrath at that time, he was so much better than everybody else that I felt like he just got the whole shot and would cruise around and just keep a gap enough for you to think you have a shot. And every year, we'd joke around. We'd go to the river and we'd see McGrath and tell him, don't party, let's try to beat him this year. And we think we got him, and then we go, and McGrath's better than he was the year before. So really, whoops was, I would say, Emig's weakness a little bit back then. He would always wait for this groove to be in when they're wore out. He would do better in the main because he could jump through them. But, he just liked his suspension too soft and too plush. He liked a plusher feeling bike, and it needed to be a little more rigid, which I think he learned later in his career toward the end. Mm-hmm. And if he would have did that earlier on, I think it would have helped him. But, he did great at Daytona. He won Daytona. Supercross mainly because we used outdoor suspension, and he likes it real plush, and track got rough, and it was more kind of technique there. You kind of feel your way around the track, not really timing like Supercross is. So McGrath just had great timing, great whoop speed. He was on a different level than everybody back then, and it was cool to work on it and try to get Emig to beat him, which we finally did. So that was cool. Not a lot, but we beat him.
How important was the 96 250 outdoor title that led on to 97 mentally for Jeff?
For sure. When he got hired at Kawasaki, actually, they didn't expect him to win. They just knew he got good starts. Okay. So, he got good starts, and he actually got some podiums early on, so he was gaining confidence there. He really liked the team. Roy Turner was the boss back then, and he was really good at just making Emig feel like part of the team. And, he knew that Emig partied a little, long as he didn't overdo it. It was fine. That's kind of the way we all felt. Just kind of do it. If you do good, let's do it Sunday night or Saturday night or whatever the race was. Do it then, and then train all week and get better. And that's what he did for a long time, and it worked. Like anything, you end up pushing a little far and doing it too many times, and then it doesn't work. But Emig was really good at the outdoor stuff, and when the suspension was soft and he felt comfortable, like even like a seat. He didn't like new seats. He liked it really soft and plush, so not to have people break in the seat foam for him. He hated a new seat. Just kind of weird things, but he was a feel guy.
97, 96 was a high pressure championship too, come down to the last round, and then 97 finally gets the Supercross title. How was that for you as a mechanic? I was the end of 96, that last round. If anything goes wrong with the bike, Jeremy has the championship. Similar, Jeremy wasn't ever far away, even in 97, despite being on the Suzuki. Did you feel pressure? You seem very relaxed, but did you feel pressure, sort of double checking everything you were from a mechanical side?
I look calm, but I'm not. Okay. I was definitely, I was stressed for sure, especially even 96. So, even though we weren't expected to win the championship, I mean, even a few races before, McGrath still beat him. He hurt his foot, which helped us catch up in points. But, you know, knowing that we got to beat McGrath, both motos at Steel City, and when he beat us the week before, like, it was going to be tough. And then the first moto, like, usually when McGrath passed him, it would be over. But Emig actually, like, fought back and passed him back, which wasn't normal. I probably messed up Jeremy a little bit because that's not Emig style.
That was up the one around the outside.
He was riding, he was like, he wanted it really bad that day. It was super good. But he was nervous. He looped it out in practice and blamed it on me, so the throttle stuck. So I took the bike all apart and just changed everything because I didn't know. And then later, after we won, he told me that it was him. He did it. He was just nervous, and he wouldn't say it was him. But yeah, we were all definitely nervous. I mean, even all the Kawasaki guys, like all day, everybody's like, it's treated like another race. But it's not another race. I mean, they haven't won a championship in so long. It was a big deal to all of us. So even, you know, then even in 97 when he won the Supercross one, they hadn't won for a long time either. So that was even a bigger deal. But again, we didn't expect it from the outdoor. But McGrath, no, like it helped with confidence, but still knew McGrath was going to be tough. We again, McGrath switching Suzuki helped a lot because he was, you know, that helped us see a little bit of a weakness there. Changing teams, just it takes a while to figure everybody out. And and then I think he got a flat tire maybe at Charlotte. And that helped us a lot. So then as soon as Emig gets confidence like that, then he's on a different level. But if McGrath would have kept beating us, I think it would have been tough. But that definitely turned when he got that flat. And then Emig, when he smells or sees blood in the water, I guess is the word I would say. He really goes for it. He was a good racer. He was always thinking and probably overthinking, really. Probably like me, like I'm always overthinking. I keep it calm. Looks good.
Because it doesn't. You wouldn't associate that from just even your interviews in the pits back in those days. You always seem to be happy.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I hated those interviews back then because I wasn't as good at it. Like I was nervous about it.
Right.
But then as I've done more, like I don't mind them now. But at the beginning, I didn't even like doing interviews. So it's kind of funny. Practice, I guess, is what you need. And you know, the more times you race for championships, the calmer you get too. So by the time I got to Stewart, we already won some championships. I felt comfortable at Kawasaki. They trusted me. So even if there was some little things here and there, we all backed each other up. And I felt really comfortable at Kawasaki when I was there. So that helped a lot.
How did Stewart compare to Emig? What were their differences? I presume Stewart wasn't partying as much. He was more focused. Or did he ride more or less?
Rode way more, definitely more focused. You know, I think, you know, his dad was definitely helping him stay focused because he was so young. And I would say Emig was probably that way when his dad was around, but then, you know, the tricky part with any of this, your dad's around your whole amateur career, they get you there, and then you go to a team, and some of the guys can transition and keep it under control, and some don't, and it happens to this day. It's always a issue when it's up to you to make the decision, which one are you doing? And even though Emig partied, he didn't do it as much as probably people think he did. He did. But it wasn't every day like what it seems like.
Right, okay,
you know, the off weeks, he went to the river and got in some trouble probably and drank a little too much.
Did McGrath doing all that? You think it was like a mind games for McGrath saying, well, look, I'm out here and Emig's going, well, I can do that.
I think they both did it to each other, yeah, they definitely would act like they weren't doing as much as they were. Like even McGrath, he was playing like he wasn't doing much, and he was. And you could tell when they show up and they do that good, they weren't doing nothing.
Was the rivalry intense between those two, like bitter, or were they, because they were sort of in a similar friend group out there?
Yeah, they didn't like each other, but it wasn't like they hated each other. They just didn't. I just think they didn't like racing each other. So, you know, there was some off-track stuff. We were all in the same friend group, so just, you know, girl situations, or if Emig cut him off, or Emig didn't like if McGrath run in on him. Like, it's all little dumb things, but it did. You know, it was probably good for them to not like each other. It made it fun to race each other, but they definitely want to beat each other really bad. Those were the two that I think Laraco hated everybody, so they all didn't like each other. It seemed like it was more of that back then.
Yeah, I wonder how Laraco felt seeing those two out enjoying themselves when he was known to be.
Oh yeah, he didn't have as much fun for sure. Yeah. They definitely had more fun than Laraco. Maybe a little too much, but they did.
Still got the titles. Yeah. James Stewart, talent-wise on a bike, you must have seen some incredible things just practicing at his pace.
Oh yeah, every day with Stewart was unbelievable to watch. Like, it actually was scary for me because every day I'm like worried that because the bike has to be so perfect. You jump in quads and doing stuff that no one else does every day. Like, to me, it's too many chances.
And he didn't
all the time.
To do it, I guess. He just so good.
He just likes doing it.
Right.
he liked the challenge all the time. He every day, and he rode a lot. Like, he definitely went through more parts, and we had to get on a bike rotation with him every couple weeks and a bike to Florida. And he would tell me, I want a brand new bike every time, so I'd have to make the bike look brand new every time. So he thought he got a new bike every 2 weeks, but he didn't. We just rotated, and I redid them. A lot of new parts, obviously, and they're rebuilt. But back then we actually did quite a bit of the work. Now the 4-stroke's a little more complicated, so you have the team. You have all kinds of different departments now, but
so you'd have done a lot of work just maintaining his bike. Yeah,
I didn't actually do any of the porting, like Rick Ash did the porting, and we had suspension guys. But as far as like taking the engine apart, the bottom end, top end, all that, like we did all that. The mechanics did that back then.
James, in terms of, would he get nervous before, even especially 125s, he was dominating? Did that then change coming up against Ricky and stuff and Reed? Did you see his mentality or nervousness change in that switch, or was he always level?
I think he played it level, but he was nervous. I mean, everyone is at the first race, but he was good at controlling it.
Okay.
He has a lot of confidence, though. Yeah, he definitely. Yeah. But it's funny. I say that, but like all these guys that have that much confidence, one little mishap and they actually lose confidence really fast too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy Stewart? When it goes bad. Yeah. Yeah, when it doesn't go, the first race doesn't go how they think, it kind of messes with them more than you would think. It shouldn't, because they're that good, but they don't. Every Monday I'd have to pump them up. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And that's where you come into the relationship with the person, not just as a mechanic.
Yeah, I think you have to have trust both ways. Yeah, like definitely, and as a mechanic to me too, you want to enjoy working for the guy you're working for, because you are putting in a lot of work. Like, you're working all the time.
Can you enjoy that? Just working on bikes?
It is fun, It's easier when you're winning.
Yeah, get rewarded.
When you're losing, it's terrible. Yeah, it's like, man, how long am I going to do this? But when you're winning, it definitely helps. But I mean, at some point, it's all a job. It doesn't matter. It is, but the winning helps.
Was it difficult to transition from Stewart's mechanic to be his team boss at JGR?
It was definitely different. Yeah, it was definitely a different relationship when he came to the JGR team. Before I was always the guy being the middleman, trying to make it work between everybody, and we had a different relationship for sure. Still, it was good, but we weren't as close.
Okay. And had he changed on a personal level or rider level from what you knew at Kawasaki, especially 125 days, to what he was on that 450 Yamaha?
No, it was more like the pressure that I was under to get stuff out of him,
right?
And then him only wanting to tell me certain things. He would tell his mechanic. So I was like usually that guy, but I'm not that guy. So I'm hearing it last, kind of like what my old boss did. So it was just that kind of thing, really. Like, we were just I had a different role in it. The pressure probably for me and dealing with sponsors and all that it's probably more me that was different than him. But if he would have won right off the bat, I think it would have been great. But we had a little bit of it wasn't going terrible to me, but it wasn't going as good as he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted to win right off the bat. And we didn't do as good as he wanted, and then we ended up letting him out of the deal.
Does that create then a spiral where he's searching for stuff and you're maybe trying to stop him, go down a rabbit hole? Is that then?
Yeah, and I would say that's every rider. They all do that. It just, you keep trying things, hoping that you're going to turn that around, and that's really what we did. Even with Stewart, we'd drive down to his house every week, try things. Yeah, I'd actually, we'd fly home on Sunday, prep up at the shop, drive Monday night, get there 8 a.m, test all day. I'd drive everybody home because another 8 hours. And then we'd have to work Tuesday, take off Wednesday, fly out Thursday, and we'd just do that over and over. So it was a lot. Yeah, we're about to kill our whole team, so it's probably good that.
Was there any time the amount of work a mechanic does, I think, gets unnoticed a wee bit? Would you have preferred, looking back, to be Jeff Emig, the rider, if you had that talent, and not be the mechanic, or were you able to transition?
For sure. No, you'd always want to be the rider if you could. You get more money too, and it's more fun. But obviously, that wasn't the cards I was dealt. I rode, and I wasn't good enough, so.
But you were able to transition to that, okay? Where you weren't just like, I wish I was.
No, I transitioned fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think that could be hard though. If you had an ego, it would be tough for sure.
Just finally on being a mechanic, was it harder in the 90s because you had to do a lot of extra stuff than it would be today, or how would you compare the roles now?
I would say it's about the same. Some things are easier and some things are harder. It's I think the bikes are a little more complicated now, but I think you have more help. Some of the guys, maybe some of the privateer guys don't. They're doing all on their own. Some of the privateer riders do a lot on their own. So I don't think it's any easier or harder. it's just a lot of work anyway.
Right.
And really travel is the biggest thing. So trying to travel with a good attitude year after year and not be a jerk, because some weeks it's good and some weeks it's not. So I would say trying to have a consistent attitude, I'd say, is the hardest thing. And that's something that it doesn't matter what year you do that. It is what it is.
After week. Oh, finally, Motocross the Nations, you did a few of them.
Yeah.
Is that, speaking for a mechanic, there's so much extra pressure than a normal weekend in America. Do you feel that, or do you keep it the same?
No, yeah. Motocross Nation is the most pressure event I've ever felt. And you feel like you're letting the whole country down. It's definitely a different feeling. We over-prepared, sent tons of bikes, tons of spare parts, like put a lot of work into that race anytime we went. I even did it on the JGR team. We went with Barsha, and we put a lot of effort in, Yeah, that race is great. Like, I wish more people, it seemed like it used to be an honor to go. It seems like now it's getting a little better, but people don't take it like that as much. It's almost like getting invited to your best friend's wedding and you're all bummed you got to buy him a present. Like, that's kind of how they take it, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be, you're honored to get picked, and hopefully we get to that. But yeah, that was the best race for sure.
Brother Jeremy, thank you very much.
Thank you.